跨时空的批判双峰，龙树中观与大卫休谟怀疑论哲学比较研究。A critical duel across time, a comparative study of Nagarjuna's Madhyamaka and David Hume's skepticism. 一、引言，东西哲思的殊途同归。I. Introduction. Convergence of Eastern and Western philosophical thought. Nagarjuna, 2到3世纪 founder of the Madhyamaka school of Mahayana Buddhism, and David Hume 1711到1776, the culminating figure of British empiricism, lived 15 centuries apart and belonged to distinct civilizational traditions. Yet they strike an astonishing parallel in their critiques of substance, causality, the self, and dogmatic metaphysics. Western comparative philosophy hails the pair as twin pinnacles of human critical philosophy, while Eastern scholars interpret Hume's skepticism through Nagarjuna's Shunyata and validate Madhyamaka dialectics via Humean empiricism. In Thoughts of a Zen Buddhist, D.T. Suzuk, I was the first to observe that Nagrjuna's doctrine of Nihasvabhavata, senselessness, and Hume's anti-substantialism represent two great intellectual journeys beyond dogmatic illusion. J. L. Garfield goes further in Hume as a Western Madhyamaka, declaring Hume a natural Madhyamaka within the Western philosophical canon. Drawing on canonical and scholarly sources from both traditions, this essay compares the two thinkers across core propositions, methodology, and ultimate aims. Key terms 术语对照表 Madhyamaka 中观学派 Shunyata 空性 Nacho Svabhabhata Swabhava 无自性自性 Prasanga 应尘法归谬法 Anatman 无我 Panchaskanda 五蕴 constant conjunction 恒常连结 Bundle theory of the self 自我的知觉术理论 Two truths 二谛世俗谛圣义谛二核心命题对刊破执与怀疑的同构共振二核心命题 Isomorphic resonance of subverting dogma and skepticism 一实体批判无自性 versus 反实在论一 Critique of substance Essencelessness versus anti-realism. In the Mula Madhyamaka Karika, Fundamental Verses on the Middle Way, Nagarjuna establishes the foundational position that all dharmas are without svabhava, essenceless, non-substantial. He states, are LL things that appear arise dependently. Not a single thing exists without causal conditioning. Therefore, all that exists is empty of inherent existence. He refutes the four extreme views Katuskati, existence, non-existence, permanence, and annihilation, rejecting any ontologically substantial substrate. As the modern East Asian Madhyamika scholar Yin Shun explains in commentary on the Mula Madhyamaka Karika, Nagarjuna does not deny conventional dependent arising, but only the delusive clinging to inherent substance. Hume, in a treatise of human nature, dissolves the notion of substance through radical empiricism. Human experience yields only discrete perceptions, with no possible justification for belief in material or mental substances. Substance is merely a mental habit of associating continuous perceptions. Alastair MacIntyre judges that Hume completed the ultimate dismantling of substance metaphysics in Western empiricism in a structure isomorphic with Nagarjuna's refutation of the two clingings, Atmagraha and Dharmagraha. Nakamura Hajime, in Ways of Thinking of Eastern Peoples, clarifies the conceptual parallel. Nagarjuna's shunyata is not nihilism, but the absence of fixed essence. Hume's anti-substantialism does not deny phenomena, but their mind-independent substantiality. Both reject metaphysical foundationalism. 二、因果解构，缘起无自性 vs 恒常连结。二、deconstruction of causality, dependent origination vs constant conjunction. Nagarjuna devotes the first chapter of the Mula Madhyamaka Karika to a systematic refutation of substantial causality. If cause and effect had inherent nature, effect could not arise from cause. Since causes and effects are empty of own being, no determinate causal relation obtains. Causality is a conventional designation with independent arising. There are no inherently real causes, effects, or causal chains independent of relational conditioning. Hume advances his famous thesis of constant conjunction. We observe only the sequential succession of phenomena, never necessary connection itself. The idea of necessary causality is a psychological projection from repeated association, not a feature of mind-independent reality. D.T. Suzuki emphasizes that both thinkers reveal the constructed nature of causal order in human cognition, rather than its status as absolute, mind-independent reality. Liu Jiaqing notes that Nagarjuna's Prasanga reductio against causality closely mirrors the logical structure of Hume's causal skepticism. 3. 自我消解无我 versus 知觉数理论 EI Dissolution of the self Anatman versus bundle theory of perception. Nagarjuna refutes the enduring self through the teaching of Anatman, non-self. I of the self were different from the 5 skandhas. It would not have the character of the skandhas. If it were identical to the skandhas, it would be subject to arising and ceasing. The self is only a conventional designation for the contingent combination of the Panchaskandha, 5 aggregates, form, feeling, perception, mental formation, consciousness, with no enduring unitary entity. The Sino-Korean Madhyamika master Jizang elaborates in commentary on the middle treatise that Anatman negates only the ultimately real self, not the conventionally designated person. In Book I of the treatise, Hume defends the bundle theory of the self. Introspection reveals only a flux of impressions and ideas, no identical, persisting self-entity. The fiction of personal identity arises from memory and customary association. Alison Gopnik has suggested that Hume may have encountered Buddhist texts transmitted by Jesuit missionaries during his education at La Flèche, opening the possibility of historical cross-cultural influence. J. Garfield pairs Anatman and the bundle theory as canonical examples of cross-cultural deconstruction of the substantial self. 4. 神学批判破大自在天创世论 vs 反设计论 IV critique of theology. Refutation of Ishvara as creator vs anti-teleological argument. In the Dvadashanikaya Shastra, 12-gate treatise, Nagarjuna uses prasaunga to do mai. Refutes creation by Ishvara Maheshvara. A creator God with inherent nature would contradict dependent arising. Without inherent nature, God could not exercise creative power. THIS undermines the logical coherence of theistic creationism. In dialogues concerning natural religion, Hume launches a sustained attack on the argument from design, arguing that the analogy between the universe and a machine is empirically weak and cannot license inference to an omniscient, omnipotent creator. He also rejects miracles as inconsistent with the constant evidence of natural order. Both thinkers deploy empirical and logical critique to reject the substantial reality of a transcendent creator deity, pioneering religious criticism in their respective civilizational contexts.